Welcome to jQuery video series, and this is part 124, and today we are going to start with the feeding function, which is pretty simple. Alright, so before I proceed, I am assuming that you're having a jQuery in your project imported, and I'm also assuming that you have referenced the jQuery file into your head section like this. You have also written some basic JavaScript code in order to execute our jQuery instruction. Alright, so now let's have a look at the markup. I have his one h2 here, one div tag. Again, I got two paragraphs in there, and the end I have one button which is fade me in. Right, so fade in is nothing but actually it is telling you. Okay, so before I proceed, let's do one thing. Let's quickly see the elements in the browser so we get a fair understanding of elements. So this is my h2. This is my two paragraphs wrapped within a div having a border of 5 pixel and blue in color, and this is my button. So the border and things are coming from class blue, which is right here. Okay, so nothing fancy. Okay, now next let's talk about fadeIn. FadeIn means to show the element. All right, and now if you look at the structure, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide this element, and then I'm going to use the jQuery, and I'm going to fade in that element. So if I want to hide that element, then I'll write some nasty things. I'll say display none. So now if I refresh this div should go away. So that's what happens. So now if I click on fade me in, the element will show up. Right. So let's see how this is done in jQuery. So basically you understand it. The element was hidden and then we faded in. Right. So how do we do that? So like I mentioned, there's a button and it has a click on it. So on the click event, I wrote a function which is fade in, and it tells me you specify an element here and I'll try to fade in. So I specify the element as div and the class blue, which is right here. So this element was hidden, and when I use fade in, the element showed up. Right, so let's see one more time in action. Refresh, this element is not here, and if I do the fade in, it fades in. Right, so this is pretty simple and pretty basic. So now we have a fair amount of an understanding how to use fade in. Up next, we're going to start with fade out. So I hope to see you there, and once again, thank you for your time on this, and thank you for listening to me.